Bro. All
Yeah,
right, perfect.
intro.
Happy Saturday, everybody. It is 1:15 in America. We are blessed to be with a couple of guests from South Africa and Swaziland. Am I saying that right? Swaziland?
Not,
Yes.
yeah, by
Okay.
Zimbabwe.
All right. Okay, I'm batting 1,000 so far. So, well, I think this is episode 15. I never remember. It's weird. Every episode I start off and I never know what episode number it is, and it seems like I can't count, but I'm actually very good at math. So Dorothea and Tuli, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to say, all right, perfect. Okay, so why don't we start with this? Why don't you, Dorothea, why don't you go first? Give us a quick introduction, who you are, where you're from, and precisely why you reached out to us for our borderline expertise, because it sure as hell ain't for my good looks that people are coming on this show. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Dorothea. I'm from South Africa, and I reached out to your group, to the State Nationals Rock, because there was a situation that I actually went through where I needed some legal advice on a situation that happened to me, but I didn't want to just take it on, and it would be part of de facto in a sense, like they call it that. I needed to do it in a common law way, but I also didn't want to bother the other Southern Africa people here, because it's with them I had the problem. So I needed to find a way, and I found your video actually crossed my path, that like it was an answer to a prayer, if I can put it like that. And your video ended up on my Telegram and my private chat, and it was exactly the video where it was talked about the AI that you built that can actually assist with common law. And I was like, wow, this is not coincidence. This is like God just knew I needed something better. So I actually joined your website, and then to my surprise, I found it out that the AI is only working for America. So it was very saddening in a way for me. And then I sent you guys an email like, "Okay, is this going to work for Africa?" So that's Dorothea. I'm here in South Africa trying to educate the Africans. Like, we are a group trying to build an assembly for the people. And this assembly is like a structure that will help the people have a voice, where we will, through committees, be assisting the community, if it makes sense. So we have like different pillars in our assembly. 4. It's the General Assembly, where the General Assembly is where people will gather, like having discussions, talking about what is needed. Then we have the sub-pillars, the General Assembly, the International Business Assembly, and the militia, which we call the Peacekeeping Task Force. So out of those, every pillar has different committees or positions that gets filled. So at this point, we can't build and say, voila, now the assembly is up there. We are training and educating the African people. We are 54 states in Africa, where we have people in every state that is busy waking up. This is so amazing, wanting to do the sovereign walk. So Tuli is one of the amazing souls. She's like in Swaziland, and we have a group. They're from everywhere. My journey has been, wow, so powerful, because you don't just connect with one person, you connect with so many beautiful people out there that has so much to offer. And we have people in Lesotho, that is the Bohon them. We have people that I have like in Mexico. I've never been there, but I have people there. And we have people in like Miami, people in Argentina, like what is happening? And all these people is just connecting because of the truth that's coming out, and people seeking it and connecting because of that truth. So we're all growing, we're all educating one another about the sovereignty and what really happened to us. So you being walking with this, building actually an AI to help people, that for me is like freaking awesome in a way, because people don't want to have to always run to somebody, because you will get people that will get really irritated with you and say, listen, find it out yourself. We're not here to hold your hand. This is a sovereign walk. And I'm like, oh my word. Okay, look at the person. Don't worry, I'll figure it. Now with you guys building a bot, we don't have to run to someone. We can actually just go on
Yeah.
there and put our stuff in there and be able to help our people. That will help a lot. That's Dorothea.
Yeah.
Now you know who I am.
Thank you, Dorothea. And for anyone watching or listening, I kind of feel foolish because we had a beautiful about 22, 23-minute conversation before I hit record. So we will cover all that again. So Dorothea, thank you very much for the intro and the backstory. One of the things that interests me. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, George, do you want to hop on camera or unmute yourself so you can introduce yourself?
Yes. Let him hop on. If you can.
I don't know if he's having
He's
a
quiet.
technical issue. So he's the complete opposite of me. I'm anything but quiet.
Looks
I
like
think
we're
it's
gonna
probably
have
the
it.
Wi-Fi. It's the Wi-Fi speed. I wanted to tell you that AI was programmed for South Africa, but in your questions you asked, does it work for the whole country? And it actually doesn't, because the constitution's changed. But I wanted to tell you for the provinces that it does work, it's all 9. And some of them I can't really say the name, but it's Eastern Cape, Free State is one. This one is a funny one. It's Gauteng. You know,
Gauteng.
I don't know exactly.
Gauteng.
And then there's KwaZulu Natal.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't. I'm gonna butcher these, and I apologize. I'm sorry. Limpopo, and then I can't even say this one.
No,
Oh
no.
my. Yeah, that's
Look,
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Say it again. Yeah, that one's on there.
Mpumalanga.
Then Northern Cape, Northwest, and Western Cape. So that's the one it's programmed for. What it doesn't apply for is like Nambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. It says those are different. It says they have completely separate constitutions and criminal procedure acts and court systems, while some principles like fair trial rights are similar because they come from international law, human rights charters. It says that y'all's law comes from, like everywhere else, British law. That's what it describes.
Isn't it funny how all of us, we all come from the same?
True.
Yeah, it all comes from the same. It's worse when we get into your questions and I have them all answered here. It all comes back to the same exact thing. The same thing. That's why I was questioning whenever I saw where Tulip is from and I thought it said Switzerland. I was like, Switzerland, because that's it. Like when people want to know where does all this come from,
That's the epicenter.
That's it right there. That is the central bank of the world. And they pre-established it across the world. And your country is no different. It has the same central bank backing as America. It's the same system. It's the same control measures, and it's how they control everything. But take it over, Steve. I'm going to continue reading over here and listening.
All right. Tuli, I don't know if you're having some connectivity issues, but do you want to hop back on and tell everyone who you are and kind of what some of your concerns and questions might be? I'm guessing they might be having some issues because now are they also? Oh my God, I'm stuttering. Are they also in South Africa with you?
Yes, we have a lot of problems here. I'm not going to even lie to you. So
okay. So that's so why don't we do this then? So
yes, let's share a bit. So we have like our government. They are really like tyrants here. So they will pull you over and they will physically assault you if you don't obey. So let's say they pull you over. They will have roadblocks and they will search everything. Sometimes they will even unpack your vehicle. Like, let's see what you got here. Maybe you're smuggling something, or that's the way it is here. It's very bad. And if you stand up to them, they will actually lock you up. They will lock you up. So we don't have it like some of you have it, where you can actually refuse, because they are so brainwashed here, very infiltrated. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
And that makes it very hard for the people here.
So, Dorothy, not to cut you off, but I want to expand on what you just said a little bit. So here in the United States, I don't want to say it's much different because I've never been to your country, but based on what you're telling me, it sounds very similar to the United States, with the exception of you get these very random interactions. And now, because of the beauty of cell phones and technology, you can record and catch all these things. All of that stuff could be used against the officer, when you go to court. But again, the corruption, and Kenny, I know you'll attest to this, the corruption here is probably no different than anything else. What I believe keeps us as the United States, and again, I've been out of the country for my honeymoon. I'm not well versed in world travel, so I don't know how the rest of the world views us here. But I do know that because we are the most heavily armed nation in the world, that is my belief as to what keeps the government and the military or the law enforcement in some form of check, because we are legally allowed to carry firearms. So I think that's like the last bastion separating us from a complete totalitarian government. They've been trying to implement that here for decades. Every new administration that comes in, they chip away
At the guns.
It's almost like the old the Chinese will project out 30, 40, 50 years how they plan to take over their nation, and they do it systematically over an extended period of time. And that sort of mentality seems to be what's rolling out here in the United States. So we may not be at your level of like the physicality and the blatant corruption, perhaps not at your level, but I also don't think we're far behind either. And you see it all the time. And Dorothy, if you've ever looked on YouTube, if you look up sovereign citizens or these folks getting pulled over and they have these interactions with law enforcement, I mean, just to claim that you're a sovereign citizen, it buys you no good tidings here. They will pull you out of the car. They will violate your rights.
Oh yeah.
So,
They do.
and again, and I'm sure it's no different in South Africa, but you have different, cities and different, countries over there. But here, each town is different. Each state is different. Each city is different. So depending on where you're traveling and what you're doing, what I can get away with in my hometown may not jive very well the next town over. So, I could stand up for myself in my town, but if I try doing that 1, 2, 3 towns over, I might get pulled out of the car, pepper sprayed, tased, and locked up and thrown in jail overnight. So you can see here, we're very slowly becoming, in the United States, we tend to look at the rest of the world as like we have this kind of superiority complex. And I truly do believe it's ingrained in us through entertainment, through movies, through television shows. Like we have this view of the rest of the world, but we only know it based on television. So one of the things that was fascinating me about meeting with all of you was to get exactly what you just gave us, like a little bit of insight into your day-to-day lives, what your struggles are, what your daily routines might be like, how the government can kind of just step on your throat, so to speak, as it chooses to. My hope is that at the end of this podcast, Kenny will have answered all of your questions. We will have some type of format in place that you and your companions can follow in terms of really reclaiming your sovereignty and your God-given unalienable rights, and just give you some type of framework to work with going forward. And again, I don't want to turn this into some type of I respect Anna von Reitz, I really do. There's just a couple of components, at least here in this country, which her philosophies are accurate, but the actionable things that you can do legally are lacking. That's the one glaring difference. Her teachings are very, very helpful, very informative. But just in terms of the United States, where she doesn't have you record things publicly, where she doesn't use legal affidavits, that's a massive drawback here. So we don't have the it seems to me like you went through like a tiered system. You told all these departments about what you were doing. You informed them. You gave them your documentation. Here it's
Which
pretty
is
simple.
good.
Yeah, no,
That's good.
and that's tremendous. So I just think procedurally there's a little bit of a difference between South Africa and the United States. We have a lot of common ground, but a few subtle differences. So
Yeah.
Anna's teachings very well may be enough for you. What I'm hoping to uncover and enlighten you guys with today, Kenny and I, is what you may be lacking. We're hoping to fill in those little information gaps for you. I feel like I just
AI is
rambled
gonna
for 5 minutes.
it's gonna solve it, Steve. That way, when people tell people this works, they're gonna run it through the AI. The AI doesn't lie. It could get stuff wrong, but you just double check and verify, right? But it doesn't lie. Not the way this one's programmed. It's because it's programmed in a structure. If you were to use other AI that has programming, like if you just use base Chat GPT, it's gonna lie because it's programmed on certain things not to tell the truth. But if you use this program, it's programmed with these certain things that are based on your constitution, your due process. And you know what is so crazy, Steve, is that they're asking y'all's questions from South Africa are identical to the things in America. You're talking about
Exactly.
speeding tickets.
Yes.
You're talking about property, allodial title. How can I not pay property taxes? You're literally speaking the same language in America that we want for freedom. And the craziest thing is when you track it back to where the source is, it's the same source in every country. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
proud
it
of you,
is.
Dorothea. I'm proud of you, Dooley, and George, too. Even though we can't hear you yet, we're really proud of everybody standing up because it really is a global movement. And we know that you feel it in your heart. That's why you're doing something. Like, we're all called, and everybody's waking up right now into this calling. And we're like, trying to find our freedom, realizing like God didn't put us here to just pay taxes and get speeding tickets and searched every damn 5 minutes and pay property taxes. But that's what we're born into. So we're born here to change it. Like, we're not born to leave it this way. We are the generation, even Wild Man Steve, to change this crap.
So, Dorothea, in terms of you reclaiming your sovereignty and your journey, is there a certain part, like I'm just going through some of the questions you had sent over to Ashley. And again, like Kenny just said beautifully, like a lot of the questions and concerns that you have are identical to what we deal with here. But I see one thing that really stands out to me. This BEE law, where the majority of Black Africans get the opportunity to have an occupation, but not other races. Could you elaborate on that a little bit and kind of tell us exactly what that is?
Okay, so in South Africa, we have a BEE law. The BEE was brought in a few years back, I can't remember when, but it actually forces people that has businesses to take the majority percentage Black people in for having an occupation than other race like white or brown or Indians or any other race. So let's say 80% plus of your business of the employees need to be Black, even though it's not about, it excludes even, let's say you have the qualification, you will not get it because you're not the right skin color. They will actually tell you, sorry, this position is not for white. You're not white, or you're not Black. We are only appointing Blacks. So we have
like equal
that
opportunity
problem with that. A lot of our people is actually going through a lot because of this law that was brought in Southern Africa. And it made it difficult for a lot of youth to actually have an opportunity to have an occupation like a job. Even our varsities and things like that, people don't get like the opportunity where you get like a sponsorship or you can go and study because you're not the right skin color. So things like that has been hard in South Africa. At this point, it's a problem, but I don't want to bring more division because we're trying to bring unity in Africa. So it was a question and it's a problem in our country, but I also don't want to bring it up because the majority of people doing this is Africans and is, of the other nations. So for me at this point, it is a problem, but I don't want to cause division as well, because we've been really working hard to get the people to unite through walking a journey of peace in honor with God's love, in a spirit of changing our country, not to bring more division and hurt up that was caused by the cabal. So I healed with that.
I want to ask one question. That's why I put my hand up. And I already know your answer because you said it. Do you think that this policy creates division?
It definitely does.
It does.
Yeah.
Then we can all know where it comes from. It comes, all those division policies come from the same source, and it is the central bankers. And they're the ones who fund it. The politicians implement it. They divide the people, and they create this division between us. So you're doing it right. And I want to tell you and commend you, like you'd already figured it out. And I knew I had raised my hand, and I saw Steve, and we're laughing back and forth because I raised my hand. But I had to ask you, and then you answered it towards the end, but I still couldn't give it up, and I had to ask it again. So
and it really
I yield.
It really puts you in a very awkward predicament, Dorothea, because what's happening now is that law is put into place. So by default, you questioning it or trying to understand it or trying to, create a workaround for this to create equal opportunity for everybody, or at least, give the jobs to the people who are properly qualified. And I'm going to share a personal story with you about this same exact topic. By default, anytime you question this, you become, anti-policy, you become racist, you become an agitator because you're questioning the new narrative. So I'll give you a perfect example. So here in the United States, I work for one of, if not the largest healthcare system in the country. I live in one state and I work in Boston, Massachusetts. Very, very liberal, politically corrupt state. Now, my company, so a lot of what I do is when a doctor is hired for the department, say we're hiring a pediatric neurosurgeon. Well, they have a quota. So now you have to hire somebody with a certain ethnic background, certain diversity check boxes. So it doesn't necessarily matter if there's two people applying for the job. One, I'll just say they're both perfectly qualified, same education, same school. One's white, one's black. Same amount of years being a pediatric neurosurgeon. The black gentleman will get the job just strictly because it fits the racial quota. To me, that's a very dangerous line to walk, because you could be taking people, and not in my particular instance, but I'm just saying, you could be giving people jobs where a child's life is in their hands, and you're giving that position to someone based on their skin color or where they were born, rather than who's more highly qualified to take care of that sick baby. And again, in my position, I work with the departments to make sure these people are properly onboarded, they have all the correct clinical privileges, and then they can go to work and do their job. But if I were to question, well, why do we give the job to this person when this person's more qualified, they have less board complaints, less insurance claims, less lawsuits, I would be considered racist for asking that question, asking the obvious question, why are we giving the job to a less qualified individual simply because of their skin color? But to your question or your point, and to Kenny's comment, it's because the whole idea is to create that racial divide between all of us. So we're constantly fighting, and
That's it.
Focus our energy on who's creating the divisive policies.
That's all they care about.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really no different here. And again, I don't see, well, let me ask you this before I make this point. How is the United States viewed in your country, in your part of the world?
Yes. Tell us.
Yeah. I'm very curious, because to me, there is a reason a lot of other countries don't like the United States. And I have to believe it's primarily because of the way the news depicts us, the way movies depict us. I'm curious, like, how do the people of South Africa view the United States? us as residents or citizens, however you want to refer to us, I'm very curious to see how you view us. Obviously, now that you met me, you know that Kenny and I are both charming and attractive. Let's take that right off the
my
table.
gosh.
Let's
That's
just,
hilarious.
how does your country view us? I'm really curious about this.
Okay. So here, when we look at the United States, we see that it's the center of where everything started. So we do see it, it's supposed to be different, but we also see it as, don't take this wrong, as a godless
No, please.
country. A country where a
You're
lot
right.
of people has forgotten God, and where
Yep.
truth is not there anymore because the people don't know God's love. And because of they had this opportunity to have so much, they took it for granted, and they actually got lost. And they don't know
Mhm.
the truth, even seeing it. It can be there, but they don't see it because they don't know God. It's a godless country that is steered by people that is evil. That's my opinion. And the people there, they are lawless, like outlaws, because they can't even
Mhm.
stick to their own law. That's my view on America. They are the creators of deceit. They are also the ones that take the people from being supposed to live a life with God, living according to His law. They are living it in a way where everything of evil sprouted from there because of the
Mhm.
movies, the actors, the singers, and so you can name it, and all of it, all of the
We've become
nonsense
Babylon.
and the deceit comes from there. And it actually spread it like a cancer right across the globe, taking the people from away from God. So they had an opportunity to have it all, but they didn't appreciate it. They didn't, because they actually left God's hand. So for me,
Mhm.
being humble and supposed to have God's love in your heart starts with your own journey. And the evil started there. That's how I see America. That's how I see the people there. That's how I see how everything started was in America, with even Rome and the Catholic churches and all this nonsense. But the most evil, even the technology, started there. Because the first things that got invented was from there, and they used it in the wrong ways. Even cell phones, computers, we can name it, TVs, all this nonsense
Mhm.
came from there, and it got distributed into the earth, and it took the people away from God, because God is supposed to be the one thing that should remain in every person's heart, and He should have been the one that get acknowledged. And yeah, that's how the evil got into people's mindsets and actually started to control them and started to brainwash them, because of the evil started in America. So that's me. I'm very straight up with that. It started there. And because of that,
All right.
that's why we are where we are. America people, I don't see them as all evil, but I see them as godless. A lot of people there don't know even the word God, don't know where God dwells, don't know what God expects of them, and don't know what God's love is to a neighbor. They come to our country here. They will steal from Africa, which is actually a continent that God blessed with a lot of riches, which is our minerals.
Mhm.
So they stole from us. They're stealing our food because we are exporting our best to there. We are the food basket of the world. So
Mhm.
Africa has been blessed with that because the people here still have a way of knowing God. They are humble. They journey with being close and connected to earth, knowing where they come from. And they work really hard, our farmers, not just to provide for our people, but we have to give it to the world because it's going there.
Mhm.
We don't have it for ourselves. So then they portrayed us as being poor, but we're not so poor. We actually, people here that has a heart for God and has a heart for humanity. We, as the people of Africa, have been very much under pressure and controlled by the evil because of who we are. And I believe it can change. And the only thing that can change it is God. Nobody else can change another person's heart. Only God can change your heart, that being your thoughts, your mindset, your focus. And if we don't have that, if we don't have Him, we have nothing. I'm sorry, you have nothing, because you can't exist without Him. And that's my opinion. That's how I will see America. They are the ones where the evil started, was with them. I yield to that.
All right. Kenny, before I want to let you go first. Dorothea, can you put your hands up like this for 1 second? Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, and this is me giving you a virtual hug because I believe every single thing you just said, and thank you for putting it so bluntly. It was beautiful. That was amazing. Thank you. And again, this was the one thing, and I actually said this to my wife before we started recording. I'm like, I cannot wait to ask that one question because I do believe this country, we have fallen victim to material things that don't matter in life. Money perverts our view on everything. We have the superiority complex because we get to live and do things where you don't have the same opportunities the rest of the world. I genuinely believe what Dorothea just said about her people being closer to God. I think it's, you being the largest exporter of food in the world, it certainly does. Like, you have to create some type of economy and money coming in for your government. But what are they doing with that money, and how are they best serving their own people? So there's a lot to unpack in what she just said. And I love your honesty, Dorothy, and I don't disagree with one single thing that you just said. Not at all. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and get a T-shirt made for you. This is Dorothea 2028. I want you to run for president in this country. That would be fantastic. So, Kenny, why don't you go ahead? I'm sure you have some thoughts on what she just said.
Well, a lot of people really don't comprehend how the whole system works as a whole. Yeah, America is rich, but America is only rich because the people who print the money on a global system said they picked America to be rich. They said, you are going to be rich. And in return, you are going to be our military arm globally. So in order to get the people to work into their system, they print all the money into that country and they flood it with just money, technology, and that's how they start to control these people, because these are going to be their military branch to go around the world and to enforce their global system. So America was made rich because we're the military arm for the money printers. If people realize who we truly are, we go in and we enforce the US petrodollar. And whenever we inflate our dollar here in America, it does hurt the Americans. But what people don't realize is that because the entire world's energy is on the US petrodollar, their dollar gets inflated too, because they have to purchase oil in dollars. And now everything that it takes to make oil drops the value of their dollar. So our money printers, and they're not really located in America, they're actually located in another country, and they control the global money printing, including South Africa's money printing. Your money printers are the same as our money printers. So they decided for y'all to be poor. They decided for America to be rich. They decide that. It's not that we pick, but there's a price. So I'm sure you might not see this, but in America, they spray us with poison every day, every single day over our heads. The reason is because they need a military arm to be domiciled and to commit their atrocities without question. So this is how they do it. They poison the Americans through their air. They poison them through their food. They poison them through their water, and they poison them through their vaccines. They test some of these vaccines on Africa. You've seen the studies where they're giving out certain things, and they say it's like for, malaria or whatever, and it's AIDS. And that's just how they are. These people are still a part of the money printing system, but they put a face, and the face is Bill Gates. But behind the face, it's the money printers. That's how the whole system works. It divides South Africa from America. It does control America to because they want them to be their military branch, but they also attack the American people on a heavy, heavy level that most people in other countries can't fathom until you're here. Until your child is injected with something the government says is good, and then he shits his pants for the rest of his life and he's retarded because of the government. These are the times of like crimes against humanity that they give to the American population in order to enslave them. They say, yeah, you can have guns, but you're going to get to kill the whole world under disguises of lies. We're going to give you technology, but we're also going to get your children hooked on porn. We're going to put atrazine in the water. We're going to make the males turn females. They do massive like atrocities globally. It's not just here. So I wanted to, because I know how Americans must be thought of, but I also want you to know like they're under heavy attack. And it's still the global system that has us the same enslaved and divided. It has South Africans enslaved and divided. And once people, that's why whenever people try to describe like, I'm going to create this, I'm going to create that, what people should do first is how did they enslave us and figure that out? And it comes through the money. Once you figure that out, you know how to solve it without having to create all this other stuff. Because I could tell you, if we start a militia and assembly and this and that, the FBI will kick us down and kill every single one of us and say we did it. That's how they do it here in America. They don't let that survive. In 1985, it's in our new document. There was a group, it was a melanated group, so that's black. And they were doing something against, they were starting a group together. And there's videos. I have videos, I made it. They dropped a bomb, like in Pennsylvania, boom, and blew the whole thing up and wouldn't turn it off and let 66 buildings burn in America. So it's not what people really think. And the average American, while a lot of people may be godless, they were trained that way. Like they go to church. All my generation was trained this way. All my friends tell me this. They support this mass murder that's happening because they were told. And I tell them, how the hell are you going to let a pastor go against your heart? God wrote it in your heart. Mass murder is wrong. You can't say this pastor told you this is the chosen this, the chosen that, and you're allowed to mass murder people. It's wrong. So on top of all the poisons, then they indoctrinate them and then they trade them into school because the same money printers printed our curriculum. They're very sophisticated at how they control humans. But the goal is to find where we're common. And you said it, we all have God. But what people don't realize is that God's in every single cell of every single part of your whole body. And the only person that hasn't realized it is you. And once people realize that God's in me and God put you here for a purpose, then we can get together. And it doesn't matter, red and yellow, black and white. We're all God's children. And then the money printers go down. That's the goal. That's the real goal. So come get me if you want some. All right, Steve, I said it.
No, that's fine. Dorothea, it looks like you have your hands up. Go ahead, please speak.
Go,
You don't have to
Dorothea, go.
speak whenever you want.
Okay. So here is something that people need to understand. It's not just the system that brainwashed them, okay? There's a bigger force that work toward that. Now you'll say, why do I say that? Okay, here it comes. According to what I know about God, God is the creator of all mankind, okay? You're going to either love him or hate him. There's going to be either God or no God. That's a choice everybody makes. And the minute people decided to not obey him, he gives them over. He will hand you over to become corrupt here. It's not just the system. The spiritual part of it is people that doesn't want to follow him or acknowledge him or know who he is. You get handed over. You get handed over to become part of the evil. And at the end of it, that is how God works. He hands you over to become evil, where you become corrupt, where your thoughts is not pure. And you will have impure thoughts. You will be directed into a course that is not so beautiful. And at the end of it, it is not just the person at play. It is God moving because you disobeyed him. So that is my heart on that. The scripture, I know a lot of people will say, no, it's not. The Bible may have been changed many times, but God can't change. He can never change. He's the same yesterday, today, tomorrow, forevermore. He will always be because he is the I am.
Sure.
that is how it will be. That's how it forever will stand. So, in my opinion, God has to say a yes and an amen. What will happen to every single soul? Because we are depending on Him for life, because He's the one that gave life to the soul. So, at the end, if that soul is disobedient, like it was with Satan being thrown out, cast out, that's what makes us different. If we don't acknowledge Him, just know that He hands you over. And that's how it works. He handed us over to a godless system because the people forgot about Him. So the system was created in an evil way because they were handed over to have that thoughts, to oppress the people, to hurt the people, so that the people can actually come back to God and acknowledge Him again and realize, oh my word, we need God. We need Him so bad. And that is where we're at now. We need God. Nobody can say, I don't need Him. We need Him. He's the only one that can save us from this enslavement. Him Himself. People say, Dorothea, you have a say. You have a way of working with your own relationship with God within you to correct your own thoughts that is impure, to create it in your own mindset, in your own heart, to become a Christ-minded consciousness where you will have the attitude that He had, so that you can be part of the change. I can't change nothing. It's not me. It will always be the I am. And at the end, that is a journey that everybody needs to recognize, is go and get God back. Give Him the glory. Know where He lives. Know what is expected of you. Know what is your purpose. And that is how it will change. I can't change no one. It's not in my ability to change nobody. You're either going to take God or you're going to leave Him. But when you do take Him, you walk with Him and you make that your purpose in life, and you live according to what He expects of you as a man or a woman of part of that creation. But you can't say, listen here, you better change now and want to control it. You can't control nothing. I didn't create it. I'm just a vessel, part of creation, created by Creator to do what needs to get done here. But people need to understand where He is. He's not up there. He was never up there. He made us His home. He wanted us to be part of, looking through our eyes at creation, at the fullness of what He created. But us as people need to get back to that point where we recognize where He is, what He wants from us, and what we need to do here, because you have a purpose. And if we don't have Him, I'm sorry, you lost. You have nothing. And that is how I feel about this walk. And that is what I will tell everybody that crosses my journey. I'm just Dorothea. But every person that's part of my journey here on Africa's soil, or where God connects me with, I will tell them. Nothing can change if you don't have God. If you don't know Him, if you don't acknowledge Him in your life, if you don't connect with Him, you need to find Him in your heart first. Get Him there. Know that He's there. He's always been. He's not going to go nowhere. And when we have that, He learns and teaches and shows you how to love, and how to love others the way He loved us. And that is what will change earth. Only God can. We can't. I yield to that.
All right. No, thank you so much. Kenny, go ahead. I saw you raise your hand, then I want to ask Dorothea a question.
Yeah, I raised my hand. So, Dorothea, I take it, is it common that people in South Africa believe in God? Is it a common thing?
Yes. There's a lot of people here.
This is good.
God.
This is good because the common thing that I found for freedom and sovereignty in itself, movements like this, it has God interacted or ingrained into it. So in America, the same system that works for our freedom actually works for South African freedom. It follows the same legal structure. See, this is why I say it has to be gone through certain processes, because then you're recognized. Then you can step into court. You can say, look, man, I am tax exempt, not tax evading. This is how it works. Boom. So there's a private ministerial association that you can set up that's like America that makes you completely tax exempt. Because when I was cross checking all your land patents, your allodial titles, you never had that in South Africa. But I was like, well, what about what's the biggest point of freedom for South Africans if they want to be free? Number one, do you believe in God? If you do, you have the most protection to go exempt, period. And utilizing the law, the current way it's structured, you're not going to get in trouble. You're going to go exempt. You're going to be free. You're going to know how to stand up for yourself in court. And you can't learn this from that other person you were talking about, because you'll never be able to go to court with their stuff. You can't go to court, step in and do any of this with that other particular individual stuff without, slandering anyone.
Kenny,
But
I'm sorry.
utilizing go ahead.
I want to don't lose his train of thought. I just want to say something to what Kenny just said about not being able to use the honors documents in court. I can verify that is accurate. This is a conversation that I had with the constitutional lawyer that we're interviewing on the 25th. He's seen both the legal affidavits I've submitted through State Nationals Rock, and then what I had recorded in the land recording office here through Honors team. One, he referred to as completely legally bulletproof, being the affidavits that Kenny introduced me to. The other documents that I had recorded in what we call the land recording office, he said this might as well be bathroom tissue paper because it means absolutely nothing in the United States court of law. So I just wanted to, I don't want to lose my train of thought. Kenny, please continue.
So that's the same thing that works for South Africans. You can convert, if you believe in God, you can create a private association. The same rights exist. You utilize the AI tool. It can explain how these rights exist, how to stand up for them. It can explain how to even create it. It's probably not going to be able to generate. It can help you generate some of the documents, but I don't know exactly how far it's going to be able to go. But you do have the same rights that we have here for our ministerial protected, activities, where if I have a ministry, like what we're doing right now is a ministry. I decided I don't have to fund their corruption, and I believe in God, so I put this out to the world. I believe very similar. You have a similar to belief. You believe in Christ. We believe in Christ too. And we believe it's all within you. The difference is I do believe that God placed us here for this time of this purpose. I don't necessarily think that, God's going to come and magically save us, because I'll tell you why. I've been watching human slavery, and human slavery is at the all-time high. And if God was ever going to come and take an action, God would. And when I realized God sent me here to take an action and sent other people like you, Dorothea, to take an action, I realized that I could see everyone taking an action in my mind, and I saw heaven on earth. And I was like, there's the answer. God sent us to bring it. Yeah. And the moment we bring that resonance in our body and we're acting like that, you're living like that, you're teaching people, you're sharing, people are going to naturally glow towards your frequency. And that is Christ inside you. And when you're doing that, you are embodying what Christ was trying to teach, it seems like, and what they're trying to hide. So you have the same sovereign protections, utilizing the same strategic systems we have in America, where we convert it into a ministry. It could be a tree trimming business. We know how to convert it into a ministry. And that way your funds go towards God's work and not the government's work of blowing up children. That's what I say for America. In your country, obviously, they're not blowing up children. I don't know exactly how South African, central bank enslaves and what they make y'all do, but they definitely make y'all do messed up stuff, because that's what the central banks do. They don't care. They're just pin them against each other, make them kill each other, keep the divide strong. And that's why when I ask for division, I know it comes from them. Because they pay for it. And when you look for the boss, you got to see who cuts the checks. And that's the boss. And that's how I track it down. But you have the same protections, Dorothea. And I wanted to tell you that because I looked it up and I was like, yes, you can do it. So anybody who has a business there, you can now convert it privately, convert it to a ministry, and pay no taxes legally, utilizing the system, the courts, and the law, and be in no trouble. And nobody can say you're sovereign or where they make fun of you. Because in America, they use these words to make fun of us. But they, obviously do it to hurt, other people's minds from wanting to learn. It's an attack. And that's why the movies, I wanted to tell you, when you see movies, I wrote a thing to recode my system. And I decided I wanted to be something else. So what I did is I just wrote what I wanted to be, regardless of who I am. And I read it 3 times a day. And it started to work through my system. And these small little things that I wanted to change started to change. And they really started to change. And so I realized, wow, you know what would really work is if I opened up my heart while I was reading this. So I'm going to put some music behind it. And as I was developing this tool for myself, I realized they're manipulating us through music sound all day. They're opening our hearts and implanting programming into us that, and in America, they wanted to increase the prison population. So the people who were owned the private prisons met with the different rappers, and they created music that only would get people locked up. And they use this system. And I'm saying that they're so sophisticated, these money printers, that they take these systems and create movies that make us want to go to war. They make people think we're better, or this group better and that group worse. They do that not by accident. It is very strategic. It's psychological, and they do it to create division. And once you see it, you like can't take the glasses off, and now you're just like, oh my gosh.
I have to share.
I'll leave it there.
I have to share something with the both of you, and so, this is how I know this movement, this mass awakening. First of all, we're having a global conversation right now. This is tremendous. This is huge.
Yeah.
Like we're on two different continents having the same discussion. But I want to point something else out. Dorothea, you had pointed out movies, music. Kenny, you just brought up movies. Are either of you aware about a movie that came out about 2 months ago here in the United States called Sovereign?
No.
Okay. So they took one of the biggest named actors in United States history, Dennis Quaid, a couple other big name actors. They made a movie called Sovereign. It just came out. My mother pointed it out to me. I didn't know it was a thing. You can look it up. You can watch the trailer on YouTube. Just type in Sovereign Trailer 2025. And it tells the story of a sovereign citizen raising his son to be a sovereign citizen, but
That's
they
very
inevitably
true.
get into a shootout with...
So they get in a shootout and get killed with the cops. I seen one clip of it, and the dude gets killed by the cops.
But here's my point. Here's my point. I started to watch it. I got about 45 minutes into it, and I shut it off. I'm like, this is complete bullshit. Because what I see is they made this movie because they have to address the numbers of us that are growing and influencing the masses. Why else would the predictive programming of Hollywood attack us on that level? It's because we're having a profound impact.
Actually, I heard about it, but it's not available to us to see it yet. There's trails about it, but I can't see it yet. So I'm waiting for it to get released so we can see it. Yes, it is there. It's there.
So Dorothea, what I could do for you, I could send you an Amazon Fire Stick with a VPN blocker. You could set your VPN up to make it look like you're in the United States, and you could watch it no problem. So,
really?
Yeah, but it sounds like it's...
But the point I'm trying to make here is that why would Hollywood spend millions of dollars making a propaganda movie to persuade us that this is a bullshit fringe movement? It's because we're having an impact.
Wow.
That's why. Happening. So again, no, it absolutely is. So before, Dorothy, when you were discussing, and then Kenny raised his hand, I wanted to ask you, do you believe that the mass awakening that we refer to this as is actually happening? And then it punched me in the head while Kenny was talking. I'm like, wait a minute. Hollywood is now putting out propaganda to persuade people not to look into this. So really we are having an impact. We are absolutely having an impact. So
that is true.
Yeah. There's
no other reason. No.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm telling you, go look it up.
This is a huge, like for me, this is a huge thing because, I've been walking this journey for very, very, very long in my life. And here comes the thing. God always showed me that I'm not free. Even though I cut it off, all stuff of religion and all this nonsense. Then he actually gave me like a vision with an angel. And this angel told me, take the scissors and just cut off your birth cord. And I was like, what? Dorothea, just cut it. And I took the scissors and I cut the birth cord. But as I cut it and I looked up, at the other end of it, I saw the Pope, like the Vatican. And then I was like, as it is in heaven, so be on earth. So you may be free spiritually, but physically you are bounded. So I started to really look to get out of it. I got the hold
Yeah.
of the papers, filled it in, and then I'm like, this is not enough. There's more. And then I went on this journey of getting information, and it's like the more you seek, you will find. And it just came to me. And as I journeyed through it, I met so many beautiful people. And
Hmm.
I thank God for them. I really do. They have been people that I can talk to that understands this, and that knows what needs to get done. We have been attacked so many times. I get threats, people calling me up, threatening my life. I get that. That's what I'm dealing with at this point, is threats. I went through a physical one where I was in an accident, and up until now, I don't see it as an accident. I see it as targeted. So people in my country, I call it the cabal people, they're not really
Hmm.
happy with me trying to get the people back on land and soil jurisdiction. They're not. So
Well, you're
Tuli,
taking
she
money out of
went.
their pocket.
Mhm. Even Tuli, she
Every
went
person you
through.
liberate. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Like even Tuli, she went through a thing with the police wanting to put her in jail because she's helping getting people to become sovereign, and because of the paperwork. And I thank God they didn't lock her up. And it was a big fight. I was very stressed for her. And then we have the Boho and them in Lesotho, their country being seen as Vatican soil. Do you guys know that? Lesotho is stuck. We need to find a way to help those people there. And we are busy researching it to see what we can do to help them because of the soil not being clean. I don't know how to put it. I'll go look for the right terms and send it to you. But they are being seen like Washington, D.C., like that. That soil is no go there. Just freaking get away. Don't stay there. You don't have rights on that soil, if it makes sense to you. So Lesotho
Yeah.
is one of that parts. Is in the world, Lesotho is one of them, and they are part of Africa continent. So we have a big fight that's running here. Then we have like Burkina Faso. I pray that God allows us to connect with that President Imran there, because he's fighting for Burkina Faso to get their country sovereign, and he's taking on everybody. You're not getting nothing from our country, part of anymore from our land. I don't know if you guys know Burkina Faso, that part of Africa. That president is totally awake. He knows what's going on, and he's fighting for his people and for their land. And that's also part of one of the 54 states in Africa. So we have a big fight. I really think it should just be people uniting in love, walking in honor, speaking the truth. Stop lying.
Boom.
I get so upset when people are just talking so much BS. It's like, just go wash out your mouth and just get it cleaned, because really it's just so much. These lies and deceit. It's a lot. I can't handle that.
Dorothea, do you find it as frustrating as we do here in the United States when you're trying to have a discussion like this with somebody whose brain is still completely poisoned? Like
I can't
I
work
used
with
to get
that.
frustrated.
I
No, I
can't work
can't.
with it.
I
I'm
used
sorry. I just can't.
no. I don't blame you.
I can't. If somebody contacts me and say, Dorothea, what is this process about? My first thing would be, how did you come to know about this? Oh, I heard about it.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, just stop there. Have you watched anything? Do you know anything what's going on? And if they say, just maybe this about the birth certificate, and they can't explain, and I say, you know what? I'm going to just stop you there. I'm going to send you some videos for you to catch up. Here is some
Yeah.
information. Get yourself clued in a bit, and then you contact me. I can't. It's very difficult for
It's
me to work with somebody
too time
that
consuming.
it tires me. It
Yeah.
tires me
Yeah.
because there's so much there's so much that needs to get done. And with the Africans, I love them to bits. They have become part of my family. That's how I see them. We don't just work with the people. We have kingdoms here, physical kingdoms. We have chiefdoms. We have countries on Africa's soil that is still kingdoms, like Lesotho, like
Really?
Swaziland. They are kingdoms, like Morocco. They are kingdoms run by kings and under that jurisdiction. So we have that to figure out for Africa still. So we
Wow.
have that. And others will say, oh, but Britain has. We have 3 kingdoms on Africa's soil that is run at this point by kings. Then you have in South Africa and in parts of Africa, we have different kingdoms with kings and chiefdoms. That is different tribes. We have that. So that king has his tribe. He just wants the best for them, having land, seeing that they're taken care of. But that was robbed even from them by the government systems. So they just want to be able to have a life, plant their own vegetables and farm and whatever needs to get done to take care of their own.
Yeah.
They don't ask a lot. Just let us be. But that got taken from them. So there's a lot of sorting out that needs to happen in Africa before we can say, we're okay now. There's a lot. There's so much damage, so much hurt, so much division, so much deceit. To just get where we can clean it, I think with the bot, it will help a lot because you will be able to ask and it will respond in a way that it can help our people. I don't have that knowledge. I'm serious. I don't have it all. I'm still trying to get people just to get clued up, but also renew your thoughts, get God in your heart, spend time with Him, so that everything can start to change. Because there's so much hatred that was caused by the governments with the division that happened. It's very difficult for the different cultures, even in our country, to be in the same space and to say, let's take hands. Now we're coming to a point where we realize we all got lied to. We all were run over. We all are slaves.
And it's a very large undertaking to mentally try to put together the magnitude of the educational aspect of this at all, because you have to break through the indoctrination first, and then you have to start to kind of lay the framework, the groundwork, so to speak, of how do you relearn your history and understand, how to be a living man or woman. So it's a very large undertaking. But one thing I will say to you, Dorothea, is that you are absolutely spiritually, physically, emotionally, you are in the right place. I would say this. I used to get frustrated dealing with people as well. I've become, and Kenny will attest to this, my specialty is I can tailor my conversation to a wide array of people. So I think for you, because you have all of these different governmental structures, kingdoms, townships, you have all these different things. I think what would best serve your time in terms of educating people is just handle one aspect or one piece of that at a time, and how could you tailor your conversation to each one of those unique situations. You know what I mean? So here it's a little bit different for us. So for me, I had to learn how to tailor this topic and this conversation to different people. We all live under the same governmental structure, but I had to learn how to tailor this conversation to, someone who's unemployed, someone who just got out of jail. Now I'm at the point where I can have this conversation with, the top pediatric cardiologist in the United States, and I can have this discussion with them. Your struggle, the way I'm hearing it, is you have to learn how to tailor this conversation or this sales pitch, so to speak, about this movement to each different type of infrastructure where your people are residing. So it's definitely more of a challenge, that's for sure. But I also think that if you just sat down and if you could just psychologically place yourself into the shoes of each one of those people,
It's
put
exactly what
yourself put yourself mentally in their situation. Say, how would I best receive this information? And I think a lot of
Yeah.
the education piece that you're talking about, and a lot of taking that out of your hands, because it is overwhelming, it's very time consuming, and it's emotionally exhausting, especially for someone who is aware of it, but they're not ready to receive the information. I think this is where the Chat GPT and the AI app will really
it will
help you,
help.
because you could literally ask this to tailor this explanation to each one of those unique situations in your country. So I
Yes.
think that's the benefit to the AI, is that you could literally tailor or ask it to give you an explanation for each of those unique situations. I
That will
think
help.
that's the true benefit to this application for you.
Let's
I
get.
mean, also, if you're
I
go
want to
ahead,
ask
Dorothea.
something about your bot, and I'm
Okay.
very curious about it. So
Okay.
you mentioned in your message that it will become available to South Africa on Monday, correct? What is the pricing going to
Yeah.
be in that regards to? I mean, is it going to be annually or monthly?
No, it's like a yearly thing. It's like
Okay.
once a year, but what they did is they priced it to equal y'all's salary compared to American salary. So it's way less than an American version to match your salary. So it's a yearly thing. It's priced based on your geographics. So anybody can be able to afford to get it. It's not like an expensive thing. And then what it does is it's programmed for litigation. It's programmed for your constitutional rights. It has your constitution. It has the number. It has the top 100 violations. See, in America, it's called due process violations, but in South Africa, it has a different name.
True.
So it has it. It has the documents programmed into it that explain the violation, the remedy, the case law, and what you're supposed to do to fix it. So it
Okay.
knows like exactly how to fight. And then it's also, because it's running on the internet, it can find the courthouse you're looking for. It can find
Wonderful.
how to, because your affidavits are even different. Like they don't have notaries like us, Steve. Their notary has to be like a
I am a
lawyer
notary.
Oh,
or
really?
or
No,
police officer.
well,
It's like
there.
someone else. They call it a commissioner of oaths or something. Is what it was. What I found.
I
Go
So
ahead, Dorothea.
actually,
whatever
What is
that
it?
is.
you don't get it. I did training last year and up until the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the year, where two of us, that is part of the global in South Africa, went through that, and we were recognized and affirmed as secretary notaries. So I have my own stamps, which I can use to
Oh, really?
Oh,
notarize
that's
paperwork.
awesome.
So yeah, I am a notary. I'm that, and that's something
There's
that
one
we
That's
problem
went
pretty.
solved.
through. We went through that with the global family, with Anna and them, with the training they give, so that people that have it different can actually stand up as notaries to notarize the paperwork. Yes. So I'm a notary, secretary and
I
notary.
would go to the court and double check anything you get from that one individual and just check. Say, hey, will this work in court if I file it? And if they tell you no, you have to know it won't work, because what we're doing and what we only promote is if you can file it and they say yes, it goes into court, then we go in there and we give it to them. We
Okay.
don't stand behind the bar and play all the funny stuff because it doesn't work. They go to jail here. And everyone playing those movements over here all go to jail because they're like,
It's the same
oh, I
here.
have this. It's from the land recording office, and the judge says it's bullshit and throws it out. But if it's from the county clerk and it has the state seal, it's a felony, so it's in your court record. Now you have a fighting chance because it's on your court record. And then you get to articulate and do your motions and do whatever you want to win. Because this is what we found here. Everyone, what they do is they teach this movement where you stand behind the thing, you notarize with the land recording office. But then what happens if you need to sue someone? You can't even stand up for yourself now because someone stole 10 grand from you because you don't know how to go to court. You have no experience, and you go record at the land recording office and they tell you, this isn't a complaint. This isn't verified. What is this? This is
So,
nothing.
yeah,
We don't
Dorothea.
recognize this.
Yeah,
That's what I
Dorothea.
want to explain. So take it to your court and just be like, look, I want to
Yes.
know, will this notary work or not? Because if it's not court admissible, then they're kind of deceiving you. And I want you to know that. Like, it's very important because I found these money printers to be very sophisticated in how they run stuff. And
I
it's highly
understand.
possible that that person's a part of their group. And I know this because I've made a lot of videos about that one individual, because it just didn't make sense saying, I'm a judge, except I teach nothing about how to really stand up for yourself in court. And I thought, that's an oxymoron. Let's dig into that. So I pulled up Anna's court cases in federal. She loses them all. I'm like, you're losing all your federal court cases, but you're telling people about court. And I was like, this is weird. So it never made sense to me. And in America, we have this system called Pacer. So I can type in her name on a Pacer account and I can pull her federal court cases, and anybody can do it. Steve can do it. And you can see her name. It's a very unique name. You can pull her federal cases and you can see it for yourself. And seeing it for yourself, there's no illusions anymore. There's just like, yeah, this doesn't add up. Then you learn how to read the court document and you're like, this doesn't line up because none of this is working and you're losing. So that's what I wanted to say. I just want you to protect yourself. I don't promote like, oh, hate them, because there's a lot of good information with them, but just verify and double check, especially on the AI. If you're using this AI, double check its work.
Thank you.
Never say, oh, this is the truth. No. If it's telling you an answer, start Googling and start verifying and make sure it tracks back to being the correct answer. I think what AI is special for is that it gets you to the answer quickly so you know what to reverse engineer and research.
True.
That's how I use it, and that's how I'm so successful. Because if it gets it wrong, I find it, oh, you're wrong right away. Oh, it's right. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm on track going fast. And that's what I like about AI.
Yeah. So Dorothy,
ahead,
to
Steve.
Kenny's point, one of the things I did when I first looked into this process in 2020, I went to my attorney. So I grew up with a local attorney here, very popular. My family's used him for years. And I told him, is actually his office had notarized some of my initial documents. And he said it to me then. I know I took it right to my attorney's office, but he's like, yeah, he goes, I'll help you out. But what he said was, he goes, what are you doing with these? And I told him how I was breaking the contract with the IRS. He says, do you plan on recording these in court? I said, no, I wasn't told that I had to. He goes, I'm telling you right now. He goes, I'll do this for you. He said, but unless you plan on putting this on public record as evidence, he said, it means absolutely nothing. He goes, what I'm trying to tell you is that if the IRS comes after you, you have no legal protection. So it was at that point, I backed off the process for a few months. I just kind of kept reading, doing my homework. And then exactly like you, because I don't have TikTok, I found one of Kenny's videos was shared with me on my Telegram page. That's how I found out about them. So I reached out to his wife. I told him what I had done. I was a student of Anna von Reitz.
So,
And Ashley, his wife, go ahead. No, go ahead, Dorothea. Were you going to say something?
So, with our documents, is there any way that I can share it with you guys in this way so that you can help me check it out?
The only thing we wouldn't know is we can't go to your court and verify it. I would just go to your court and ask the court clerk, if I file this on the record, is this acceptable? Is this formatting?
It's that simple.
That's it. And if it's unacceptable formatting, that's how you know it won't work. Because the goal is to be able to go into their court and to win. And that tool would teach you how to beat them on all their stuff.
Okay, so with the AI, I will be able to see if I can have the right documents. Is that what you're saying? And in that way, I'll be able
documents are going to be, your documents will be good, right? The problem is the authority behind it isn't proper. The process isn't proper. So you take the same document and you find out how to notarize it, because whenever I looked, it says it has to be for South Africa. It's called a commissioner of oaths, and only certain people have them. And it's like lawyers and police officers is what it said. I don't know because I'm not there.
I have somebody that this is interesting. God has been really, I wish I knew it earlier. I have somebody that she's like in our Afrikaans it would say a lieutenant in the force, and she's a commissioner of oath. And maybe I can just ask her, can you stamp this for me? Can you make this legal for me or lawful? That's what I'm gonna do. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
all
all
that.
they do in America, it doesn't matter what your document says. If your ID matches your signature, they just witness that and that makes it legal and binding. But it
Yeah,
has to be matching. And then whenever a court says, "Hey, notary, come to court," they're going to ask, "Is that the person that signed the notary?" Yes, that's it.
understand.
So they don't make the notary responsible for what the document says. It's just, did the person sign? So it should be the same
Okay.
way. You need the people that just verify this is the ID, that's the signature, and
But,
that's it. And that's how
but
it should work
also,
for y'all too.
but also with us, we have like living witnesses. If you have 3 living witnesses, it
Yeah,
overrides the notary. And that's in our law like
we
that.
have
So I don't know if you have
yeah,
it.
we have the same thing. We do. We have the same thing, and it's two. We have to have at least two.
We
So
have
a
we
lot of
have
our
3.
stuff will have two. But they
So
just have to all be able to appear in court, and you have to bring them all in there. And that's like, that's your common law notary. That's how whenever I was digging
so
on all
my
that, like the cat meme.
so my paperwork has like 3 witnesses on. I have 3
Ask
solid witnesses.
That's good. That's really good. I would go in there. I would just go to the court clerk and be like, "Look, I got 3 witnesses. Will this count as the notary, like from the oath of commissions or commission of oaths or whatever?" And they'll say, "Yeah, that's the equivalent. That's good." And then you'll know all you need is 3 witnesses,
Yeah,
and
it's
that can,
it's critical that you verify with the court,
yeah, just verify
and you
it.
want
You're
and you
good.
want to go to the court where if you were arrested or you did get a traffic citation, you want to make sure you're
Yeah,
verifying this information and your documents with the court that you would have to go to.
yeah,
Because again, here there's a difference between an Article 1 and an Article 3 court. So if your documents are only good in one of those two, but you happen to go to the other court, you're completely defenseless. So
I
everything you've done, you just want to go and make sure that it stands up. I want
yeah,
to point something
I'll
out to you really
definitely,
quick.
if it gives me
So
some homework, I'll go check it and I'll let you guys know. That's what I can do.
it'll be
I'll
yeah.
check
yeah,
it.
it'll be very
Okay.
it'll be very quick and easy on your end.
Thank
I
you.
want to point something out to you. So I had asked Chat GPT to give me the difference between a federal citizen and a state citizen here in this country. And ironically enough, it references Anna von Reitz and some of the documents that you would need to do to repudiate your citizenship in this country. But what I do want to point out one thing, because even though it's referencing Anna von Reitz, it also gives you 3 different Supreme Court cases, 2 from 1875, 1 from 1901, showing the validity of a state citizen in lieu of being a federal citizen. It goes over the documents you would need. It goes over and actually, you'll be familiar with these: the Declaration of Political Status, the Act
Yes.
of Expatriation,
Yes.
Certificate of Assumed Name,
Mm-hmm.
Revocation of Election to Pay Taxes, and then the last one it references is a land recording cover sheet. You and I are aware of these because we both followed Honest Teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is the next piece, and this is directly from artificial intelligence. This is right after what I just read to you. Step number 4: record your documents. Record them in your local county recorder's office or where your birth certificate was registered. Some people also send them to United States Secretary of State and the U.S. Attorney General to put the federal government on notice. Then it goes over a few other steps that you would have to do, like updating your passport application. We serve the IRS with legal affidavits,
We also
removing
do
your
that.
affiliation. Okay, perfect. But then the last thing, like Kenny said earlier, it said use a private members association or PMA or a trust for interfacing with the
Yes,
I
government
have
or
a
banks.
trust.
It's
yes.
okay,
I
perfect.
have a
Now I
trust.
want to point.
I created,
So
I call it a sovereign trust, but okay. For me, I see it as a sovereign trust. Even others name it a private trust. It's a sovereign trust. Okay.
Kenny, I didn't send this to you, but I want to read this to you. So step number
Yeah,
6, this is wild.
read it.
It says educate yourself continuously. Bullet point 1, learn about
Educate.
common law, contract law, and UCC code. Now this is bullet point number 2 under education. I can't believe I didn't send this to you yet, Kenny. Read Anna von Reitz's materials or resources from groups like American States Assembly or the State Nationals Rock.
Where's that at?
Chat GPT.
Chat
I'll send. But it references us and Anna von Reitz. So the point
What? That's crazy.
I'll send this to you, Kenny. But the point I'm trying to make, Dorothea, is that there is truth in all of this. But the one thing that this tells me, and here is it, blah blah blah. I'm trying to find the part where it tells you to make sure to record
There's
You
a
may
trick.
loft.
The
Yeah,
trick
so
to everything, Steve, is once you figure out that it's all within you and you start to realize where the BS is, and you're just like, and I feel like that gets found once you dig all the way down to how it was started. How do they enslave us? Through the banks. How do they do it? Through the fractional reserve banking. They print money to unlimited. They fund the politician that creates the divisive laws, statutes, and control mechanisms to make us all slaves, and then we all fight each other. Once you
So-
get that figured out, then you can go back up the ladder and catch them all.
this will be quick. Do you guys want me to read to you this quick conversation I had with ChatGPT about this topic?
Sure. It's
So,
about South
Dorothea,
Africa too, or just here?
Well, I believe this is just based on the United States, but
Oh, okay. Okay.
but this goes over your teachings as well as Anna von Reed's. Dorothea, I will copy and
Okay.
paste
That's
this entire
funny.
conversation and I'll email it to you so you can have it. So all I did is I asked ChatGPT, can you tell me the difference between a state citizen and a federal citizen? Now, I'm kind of a nerd. I named my ChatGPT Jarvis because he has a British accent, so I call it Jarvis. So I said, Jarvis, can you tell me? It said, yes, Steve. This is a critical distinction for anyone exploring sovereignty, constitutional status, or state nationalism. Here is a
You
quick
sound like him.
breakdown. Do I sound British?
Yeah.
I think British
I'm just
accent's
kidding.
kind of sexy.
Just like the first sentence sounded like you were trying to do it, and then
I
it
was trying
went
to
back
sound like
it went
Jarvis
back
a
to your
little bit.
voice.
All
It
right,
went
I'll go
back to your
being
voice
Tom.
after that.
So I said, here's a breakdown of the difference between a state citizen or a federal citizen, especially as is discussed in legal, historical, and sovereignty circles. A federal citizen, by definition, is a federal or U.S. citizen is a person who owes allegiance to the federal government of the United States, primarily under the 14th Amendment. And then it goes over the key features created post-Civil War by the 14th Amendment. You are then subject to federal jurisdiction in United States statutes and codes. You enjoy privileges and immunities granted by Congress, not from the Constitution as originally ratified. Usually resides in one of the 50 states as a federal resident, unless you've declared otherwise. Must pay federal income taxes even when not working federal government and living in a federal territory. So that's a federal. Now for a state citizen, which is Dorothea, what you are, but Kenny and I are, a state citizen is someone who owes their allegiance to one of the individual states, ergo Rhode Island or Texas, not directly to the federal corporation. I love that they called it a federal corporation. This concept is rooted in the original Constitution and the original Bill of Rights before the 14th Amendment. Key features would be your citizenship is tied to the state of the union, not the federal overlay. Like Kenny, remember I used to give you the example, like I used to tell people I took a clear piece of plastic, if I laid it over the United States, that's what the federal overlay is.
Oh yeah,
That's literally how they refer to it in
make
AI.
videos saying that exact thing. So I probably got that from you. I don't know. Or
Bullet
I
point
don't know.
2, it says you're protected by the
knows?
original Constitution from 1787, not the corporation one, and your state's constitutions. You are not automatically subject to federal statutes, codes, or regulations unless you voluntarily contract with them. You have unalienable rights, not statutory privileges. You may lawfully opt out of certain federal systems, including income tax and Social Security. And in quotes, it says, if done properly and legally. That's the piece that I wanted to read to you. So you can complete all these things within our respective governments, but unless you do it legally and properly, it will not stand up in any court of law. So that's the point that I was trying to make. I wanted to get to that point. Again, Dorothea, I will send this entire breakdown of this conversation over to you. It gives you checklists of everything, what to do, how to do it. It tells you step-by-step process. It's really kind of crazy. But Kenny, I forgot to tell you, that actually references State Nationals Rock and
I
Anna
know
von
it's
Reeds.
freaking crazy.
Tell me I'm awesome.
I don't know.
Just say, Steve, you're awesome.
Steve, you're awesome. That's
All
really
right,
cool that you
Dorothea,
did
it's
that.
your turn. Say, Steve, you're pretty cool, Steve.
That's hilarious. No, it's
So,
your turn.
but like I said, so the reason I bring this up, Dorothea, is your primary concern is what benefit would the AI have for you. This is me just talking to ChatGPT. This is not their due process defender. This is not what they've created for you and your people. This is just ChatGPT. So if this artificial intelligence knows about us, knows about the congressional session from 1967, then his version will protect you and help educate you legally and governmentally speaking. So I just wanted to get that point across.
I ran a lot of South African questions through it after I made it, and it was really, really good.
Good.
And the thing that makes it special is if you need to go to court, Dorothea, to stand up for yourself, it will teach you.
Yes.
Thank
And that's what's most important to me, because if we all did this as a collective, it didn't matter where it didn't matter whether it's South Africa or America or Jamaica. All the people caring about other people, having God back, standing up for themselves, caring about their neighbor, we changed the world. Like, we can literally have a completely different trade system because we decided one day that we're not going to accept this, crimes against humanity, because nobody deserves what a lot of the world is getting. And the truth is, it's not going to stop until people like Dorothea and Steve and Thule and George get together and say, enough's enough. I'm going to be the change within myself. And that's the Christ within you. And I think you're doing
you.
it. And I think this tool will be very beneficial. I think y'all will be super impressed. You're going to be like, wow, this thing it works. It's
Will
legit.
you
I
in
want to point
future-
something else out.
There's
No,
just
go ahead,
another
Dorothea.
question.
Please go ahead.
Will you in future build like a bot for every part of Africa? I mean, we are 54 states. We all have different constitutions. So will it in
Yeah.
future be like something you would want to do for Africa in the fullness and not just South Africa like you did now? To help all our Africans?
Yeah, we definitely can. It takes a decent amount of time to make each one, but I have an idea for you. Like, the way we built out our State Nationals Rock is because we had the urge to help people, but we didn't have the time to personally help each individual. So I did build up a lot of compassion, because I remember when I would get questions of people, and this is what I took your message as: someone who contacted you and they hadn't done their work, but they want to go and ask you to get all your work so they can just
Yeah.
skip having to learn, which is being lazy. Nobody likes that. So you were like, hey, go do this, go do that, and then come back. And that was just you saying, you're disrespecting my time by being lazy. And instead of going and doing your homework, you're just coming to ask me like a free ride. But what you could do is the same thing we did. We realized there's all different individuals on different mindsets doing different things. So we created the website and we put all our data there. And we have tons of good data. So you could be the South African version of that and just put really serious stuff that works, has to do with how to sign up for yourself litigation wise. And we can even, you can replicate the style of ours.
So you're actually trying to maybe tell me, okay, Dorothea, just go use the bot, get powerful info, create a website, and just get it out there. Like, go for it, Dory. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Worldwide, we need this, and we definitely need you, Dorothea, in South Africa.
Yeah, I want to point something out, Dorothea. I don't work for State Nationals Rock. I host their podcast. I'm their lead educator, so I field a lot of like I don't get paid, and they've tried to pay me. I don't take money from them. I do this because I feel as though I have this knowledge. I have a unique skill set to help people, so I do it. But what I'm saying is I became their number one educator, and I got affiliated with them just because I was very passionate about this and I really wanted to understand it. So I spent a year studying and educating myself. That's the only real thing that I bring to, like, I help them answer emails, calls, things like that. I help out a lot of their members, and then I host their podcast, and I take care of that stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is there's no reason you and I couldn't work together so you could become me for South Africa, and then you could kind of be like the tip of the spear, so to speak. So I think the first thing to do would be to get, once they get the app up and running for you, and then, you and I we could meet, because I know they're busy. They have multiple businesses, multiple websites, but there's no reason you and I can't meet and kind of coordinate and try to help you get this up and running, if that's something you wanted to do, or something you could put some type of system in place so you could become the Steve Barty of South Africa. Just
the first thing.
Yeah, I know. It sounds weird.
Like, the first thing I would really want to really get knowledge about is our constitution, so that I can work it from there. That's where I need to start.
It has it programmed in there. I saw traffic laws were in, or the protection was in, like, chapter 21. I was like, it has your constitution in there. It's programmed into the system. So it knows your constitution. Actually, when I downloaded it, it was really colorful. The front page, I was like, this is a cool constitution. But surprisingly, a lot of countries have constitutions, and we in America think we're like the only one. It's like, that's not true. It's like every country.
So Dorothy, a couple of weeks back, Kenny and I did a show. It was brief, like maybe 40 minutes, where we opened up the AI tool and we just asked it legal questions. So we said, if I get pulled over for a traffic violation, speeding in my town on this date, how would I defend myself? And it literally went through. The first thing it did is it cross-referenced your violation against your state's constitution. And it looks for anything that's repugnant to your state's constitution as a way to dismiss or get rid of the infraction. If that doesn't work, it'll go through the validity of it. Were they even supposed to give you this ticket, or the how they, with you, it was a traffic camera or whatever. Or if that doesn't work and you still have to fight it, it'll tell you exactly how to fight it. It'll tell you what documents you have to file, when you have to file them by. Yeah. It literally holds your hand. So what I would suggest is, when you first get it, get the application, open it up, and just do whatever the most common thing is in your area, whether it's a speeding ticket, whether you got somebody who likes to walk around and kick dogs, find out how legal that is. Like, you could ask it whatever you want.
Slander.
Yeah.
And let slander be one of that. If people slander you, false accusations, that is going around here like a wildfire.
I wrote that one in there. I actually pulled that answer up for you from the Due Process Defender South Africa, and it explained that it doesn't matter if you're a living man or woman and they're operating in maritime. The courts see it as the same because they're representing the entity. So you still take them to court the same way, and the methodology is the same. To take someone for libel or slander, use the same stuff. And that's what's so powerful that you can't get from sovereignty movements. You can't get how to sue someone and really be effective and win. They're not going to tell you that, because they know if you learn that, you'll know how to be free. And that's why I say lawyers are like the gatekeepers, because if you have money, you can pay the gatekeeper and walk through and get your freedom back. If in America, if you don't have money, you are going to jail. Like, that's how it works. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Like, you can get off for murder being either one. A lot of people don't know there's a secret society that's big time in charge, and they're melanated. So they're like, oh, the white people are in control. No, the people at the top are all colors. They have different clubs, and one of the clubs is melanated. They're called the Boule. And I know because I studied them forever. With this, bro.
Down south,
it's
like New Orleans.
Every single. There's not like one group. They are older than us. They're more advanced than us, and they control the printing of the funds. That's how simple it is. And once we get together and we're like, no more, guys, it's over. That's why I truly try to inspire unity. And I know, like, God created everyone and loves every single person, no matter how much people think they're better than someone else. You ain't. You're not the chosen one. Sorry.
So, Dorothea, let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked into seeing? So, the way I found this constitutional lawyer that we're having on the show on August 25th, and again, I'm in Rhode Island. I'm on the East Coast. He's out in California. But the way I met him is I reached out to a company. Do you have a pen handy by any chance, Dorothea?
Can you send it to me in an email? I'm sorry. No, I don't have
No. It's fine. So I'll send you an email with this info. There is a company that I found, not a company, but an organization I found called Weiss and Associates. They're from the United States. And what these people do is they defend people in the United States tax court. Wow. And get their cases dismissed. So I found them before I even met Kenny and Ashley. And Kenny and I helped someone here in the United States, in my town, beat the IRS for about $336,000. They were coming after him, and we got the case dismissed. Between Kenny and myself putting together his legal affidavits, and then I referred him to this firm, but they're based in Paris. The reason I'm asking, and I it might be worth, and I'm gonna ask the lawyer that I'm having on the show. I met him through them. So he helps their clients in the United States, but they're in Paris. I'm curious if they have within their network someone in your neck of the woods, in your country, that could work with you. So it's worth a shot. So I'm going to find, because I'm going to try to find out if I can put you in contact with somebody to defend. You'll have to excuse my cat, Romeo. He loves attention.
Oh, my word. That can work.
So I'm gonna ask them if they have any contacts or resources in your neck of the woods, because I
Sure.
also am a firm believer that the way this movement grows, the way we make an impact, is we align ourselves, we create this fantastic ecosystem, but we also align ourselves with the proper legal resources to help us, people who want to work with us. So, for us, Kenny, am I wrong? The podcast we're doing on the 25th, this is the first of its kind for all of us, right? We've never
Yeah,
had a
no,
constitutional lawyer that
no,
defends
nope,
state nationals in court.
nope, never.
So, and I'm going to pat myself on the back because I
Yeah,
found this
pat
guy.
yourself.
I'm
Steve
very
is
happy about this.
awesome. Your
So
frequency attracts it, bro. You putting in the work, you getting the results. That's why you get swole, right?
it's weird that I attract men and I'm married, but whatever, that's fine. I'm not here to judge. So, so I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to see what I could dig up for somebody in your neck of the woods, because
That's
I
awesome.
think at the same time, while you're learning all of this, to have that type of resource to validate the things that you're going through. And again, what was critical for me was to have this discussion with this lawyer to find out, no, all the documents that I had done with the land recording office they will not stand up in court. So it was a blessing in disguise. So please go ahead. What were you going to say?
She's muted.
Oh, you're muted, Dorothea.
How do we unmute her?
Uh-huh.
Dude, I tried. They said, nah, bro. Steve's the host. Don't be touching buttons.
Yeah. Dorothea, can you unmute yourself? I don't know what's
like, I don't know what happened.
at this point. It just looks like we're like creeping on a girl on a dating app.
Oh my God. You're still hilarious. You always crack me up. I'm sure people in other countries don't know our humor in America because we have such...
Yeah, none of my jokes landed.
No, you're like a firefighter. I already told you. You have firefighter humor. And I know firefighters. I've had a couple friends that are firefighters. And their humor is like yours. It's just a little bit deeper than everyone else's.
It's dark. There she is.
You're back.
This is South
That's
Africa.
okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Okay, so I hope you're not going to think weird of me, but I've been in meetings since 6. So,
No, it's totally fine.
yeah, if you guys don't mind, I had a meeting 6 till I had the podcast now with you. So I've been really busy with a lot of meetings lately. So I would really want to catch up more with you. I've enjoyed this so much. Thank you for doing the bot for us. Oh my word, I'm looking so forward to the bot. I can't wait to just go in there and figure it out. And
it's impressive.
Help our people.
It is very, very impressive.
Oh, I can't wait. With that, I can actually get powerful information to help our people more. Yo, I can't wait. This thing is going to make me smart.
So, Dorothea, why don't we do this? We'll wrap up for today.
Okay.
I'm going to send you an email with a bunch of information. I'm going to send you that website that I was just referencing, that Weiss in Paris.
Please.
And I'm going to send you the attorney, I keep saying attorney, the lawyer that I'm in contact with. I'm going to send you his information as well.
Yeah.
And then I'll send you a couple other things. But you can email me anytime you like. And what I'll do is I'll start to chip away on getting a resource like the lawyer I found. See if we could find somebody in your neck of the woods. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm quite positive we can find somebody out there for you. Because at that point, you'll have a valid legal resource, and it'll give you the courage, the knowledge, and the confidence to stand up for yourself and for your people.
Thank you so much. That's not just for me. I'm going to help our people. That's what's going to happen. I'm not somebody that.
No, we're going to.
But in this way,
you are going to be. When there's an earthquake, there's an epicenter. You're going to be the epicenter in South Africa for this move.
I'm just going to say this to you. I have my groups. I have like 4,000 plus people that I'm educating. That's where I'm standing at. I don't have small groups.
That's fantastic.
We are more than 4,000 people at this point. So this is not just for me. This is a breakthrough for all of those people that will be able to get educated. So now you can think, being connected in Africa, we're going to have that for South Africa. But the other African nations is going to say, when are we going to get a bot? That's what's going to happen. They're going to ask, can't they help us? Can't we have like lives with them so they can help us? Because that's what's coming.
We can.
They will want to help.
We'll keep making them.
No, I'm serious.
We're gonna make them for everywhere.
They enjoy,
Kenny could work on making
like the little videos and stuff that you guys are setting out there, especially you, Kenny. They love it. It's like a punchline for them. So at this point, we're like, if you're gonna have lives, they would join it. I think they'll flood it. We once tried it with a speaker, and we were like nearly 500 people on there that just jumped on, and I was like, oh my word, this lady, she was like a bit overwhelmed, and I warned her. I said to her, don't feel overwhelmed when it does happen. And it was so powerful. It was really amazing having so many people that speaks the same language and have the same understanding, hungry for education to grow their knowledge. And that's why I say to you guys, you have opened up, and I see it as God opening up a doorway for Africa to stand up. This is not just a small movement. This is something that's running right through Africa. We have people everywhere, but we have to have an opportunity or a platform that we can have like regular maybe chats, get on there, share with them, share knowledge with them, hear the questions out. I don't want to be like the only one. I wanted to connect. I see the fullness of Earth. I don't just see Africa. I see it connect globally with like-minded people. So if that can happen, it would be awesome. That's something we can talk about in future. I don't want to push us on you guys, but that's something that Africa would.
No, Dorothea, I give you my word right now. If we can have more podcasts, you can have more people from your network on, people from different areas with different questions. I'm sure Kenny has no problem with that whatsoever. We are here to serve mankind, and whatever we could do to help anywhere, anyone, anywhere on earth, we 1000% will do whatever we can.
Definitely.
Thank you, but you guys not going to mind? I really would love to chat more, but I need to excuse myself, hey? If you don't mind.
Nope.
We can catch up again.
Dorothea, I'm going to send you an email. With all my information. Please feel free to use it.
Thank you for both of you. I appreciate your time, and thank you for having me on your podcast. It meant a lot, more than you know.
No, thank you for sharing all of your stories and your struggles. It means a lot to us, and we're honored to be in a position to help.
Yeah, it was our honor. Thank you.
No, thank you. Take care. Love and light to you, and love and light to your family. And keep on doing what you guys are doing.
You too, Dorothea.
It's making a change.
Thank you.
Bye, beautiful
George,
souls.
thank you for tuning in as well. Bye, Dorothea. Kenny, hang on for a
sorry
second.
about this. Cheers, guys. Sorry, signals are really bad.
No, it's okay, George. Listen, I'll send you my email as well. So if you have questions, you could reach out to me, okay?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind. We've actually just moved home, so the Wi-Fi's and stuff's not been set up yet. And I also realized our mobile signals are quite terrible here, actually.
Don't worry about it. Like I said, anyone that was supposed to be on the call, I think there was 10 or 12 people. I'm going to send you all my email address. If anyone has any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. It was great. Awesome.
It's our pleasure, George. Thank you so much for attending. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah. All right. Super. Thanks very much.
Take care, pal.
Bye-bye. Ciao.